guys, it's Sheena from Teton Raptor Center, and I'm here to give you all this week's patient update, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm kicking things off this week with our most recent release. This is Northern Saw-Whet Owl 2924 from Driggs, Idaho, going back to the wild. Moving right along to our current patients, here we have Golden Eagle 211 from Douglas, Wyoming. This young eagle was found on the ground and didn't have any obvious injuries when picked up, but upon further examination, we found that this bird was really emaciated. After we did an eye exam on this bird, we noticed some severe trauma in the right eye that looked really old. So our avian ophthalmologist came out and took a look and noticed that this bird has what's called dorsal retinal detachment in that right eye. Now, unfortunately, in birds, that's not something that can be repaired, and he will not be able to see out of his right eye. Unfortunately, that means his options are pretty limited. Eagles, in particular, don't do very well out in the wild with one eye. They really rely heavily on their eyesight to hunt, unlike owls who rely on their hearing. And so given that this is a young bird with an eye injury, our goal is to get him back to a healthy body condition and try and encourage him to live prey test multiple times until he gets better at hunting with that one eye. If he can prove that he's able to hunt with that one eye, then he will be a candidate for release. So that's kind of the track that we're sticking with this bird. Hopefully, as he gets better, he'll kind of learn to fine-tune his skills, only being able to use that one eye. Next up is Great Horned Owl 28 from Swan Valley, Idaho, and this bird came in after a car strike. He was found stuck inside the front of the grill of the car and was able to be removed and brought in. He's dealing with a lot right now. He's got a fractured radius on his right side, a fractured scapula on his left side. He's got severe head trauma and is concussed, and he's also dealing with eye trauma in both of his eyes. Here he is just hanging out in the ICU with a wing wrap on that broken radius. Because of his severe concussion, we have actually been able to hand feed most of his diet while he's hanging out in the ICU without restraint. That is not something you are ever able to do with a wild raptor, is being able to feed them without restraint unless they're eating on their own. So this just is a testament to show that this bird is dealing with a severe concussion. Like I said, this would never, ever, ever happen in a different raptor species. They would definitely not just be sitting there letting us feed them. They would be putting those talons to use, coming towards us with them. So you can see he's definitely have some abnormal head movements here. He's turning his head to the side. He's really squinting that left eye. So these are all big abnormalities that I want you guys to know is not normal of a healthy owl. The prognosis for this bird is heavily guarded, but we are going to do everything we can for her, and hopefully we're able to get her back out to the wild. Next up is Great Horned Owl 1228 from Hoback, Wyoming. You can see just the main contrast in these two birds. This one is a lot darker in color, just goes to show how the variation in color can look amongst great horned owls. So this bird was hit by a car out by Astoria and is dealing with head trauma, eye trauma, and some soft tissue damage to that left wing. We actually did move this bird to the flight barn and unfortunately noticed a very severe wing droop, and this bird was not really able to fly. So we brought her back in, took some x-rays, and noticed a lot of abnormalities in the left shoulder. So this bird is now back in the PCU. It's on a course of anti-inflammatory medication, a 10-day course. We're going to see how that goes, and then we're going to attempt to do more flight conditioning and see if that medication has helped. Again, with this one, the prognosis is heavily guarded. This was a major, major injury after that car strike on the highway, so we're going to do everything we can. Next up is Rough-Legged Hawk 1224 from Farson, Wyoming, and this is the bird that was shot in the wing. As a reminder, it is not legal to shoot raptors, and this bird is dealing with a major soft tissue injury to the right wing after that gunshot, as well as a fractured ulna. Thank goodness the fracture has completely healed and looks great. However, there still is this soft tissue wound that we're having to manage. And so this is taken from today, it is looking a lot better than when it first started. So we are seeing progress with this, and we're hoping to be able to move this bird out of the ICU and into the PCU next week. Last but not least this week is red-tailed hawk 1214 from Taylorville, Idaho. This is the bird that came in emaciated and with a coracoid fracture. That fracture is fully healed. We were able to move this bird out of the ICU into the PCU. He's still hanging out on some of his lower perches, so I'd like to see him start using those higher perches before we move him out to the flight barn. But he's eating on his own and doing well out in the PCU, so I see no reason to rush him along. And then when he starts using those higher perches and is feeling comfortable with that coracoid fracture having healed, then he'll move out to the flight barn. All right, that's all we've got for this week. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed learning more about our birds. Remember that if you want to do your part to help keep wild birds wild, you can check out our website at tetonraptorcenter.org and make a donation. You can also click the description. There's a link right there that takes you to our donate page. Bye!